Hey everybody, it's Stang1981. Got another video for you guys today. So last left you off with my Ally X and Christmas of 2025 kind of wrap up of what happened, what I got, things that were going on. So for this one, I'm going to touch on my last video I was talking about the Switch-2. Well, this will be about the Switch-2. So my daughter came to me and she's been wanting a Switch-2 for a really long time. Ever since they released and dropped in, I think, September. So, towards the end of the year of 25, she ended up getting a Switch-2 that she didn't even realize that she was getting. And I'm going to just say she's already unboxed it, so it's kind of like, well, I hate to be the bearer of, like, not necessarily bad news, but kind of spoiler, but I already had to unbox it because I had to do a few things with this. So, Chris Stickman, I believe this is a good unit. Thank you very much. I'm putting you guys out here on the old channel. So, Chris Stickman. So, Stickman, appreciate it. We'll see how it goes from there. I can't boot this up just yet because my kid's got her Switch. It's complicated at the moment, but I do believe it's good. I checked it out before giving it to my daughter, and as far as I knew, it had that, like, safety seal on the box, so you couldn't really open this up, so it was keeping me from opening it up right away. There is a little pullback release tab, and then, like I said, this is supposedly a unopened unit, so it has the Mario Kart World in it, pre-installed. I believe it's going to have either a voucher or some sort of way of loading it in, because it's a digital copy, I believe. So, further ado with that, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go a step further just to show. Here's the box. She's already cracked it open and did all the fun stuff, but here's what it looks like. And if you notice, it's empty because I got some of it kind of scattered here. So, you'd have your screen or your tablet here. You'd have your joycons here. They're wrapped. I kind of kept everything organized. You take this out, and underneath where your tablet is, you got your manuals and your read on stuff. The docking tray goes here. The controller adapter for your Joy-Cons goes here, and then you have your bag up here that has the power supply, removable power supply like your cell phone would have, and your cable. Okay. So here is that right here. Here's the power supply, licensed power supply, and cable. Okay. Now, I'm going to pause you guys for a minute so I can get into the next of it. Hang on just a minute. The full box that it came in, and no, I'm not going to show the address, so sorry about your luck. Docking station and tray, and you're going to see why I pulled all this out, because with that comes this box here. So my dad got a PC over the holiday, a laptop, and we used the box to kind of get into this. So I'm going to move you guys for a minute and flip the screen around. This is not the box it came in. This is a separate box. We had to separate it because this was my kid's Dbrand setup. Okay, so this is currently my daughter's new Nintendo Switch 2. This is the liner pouch, or the liner that keeps it all together. It keeps it all to keep its form. It's a form tray. And here is the other part of that. Let's see, this is Dbrand Canadian sticker. There you go. Reflective holographic. It's the screens. So she's already had one of these put on it currently now. So you see, here's that tray I was telling you in my last video. It's like a 3D plastic reinforced screen. And then you drop it all on there. Here's the pouch. This is a pouch that stuff comes in. The overlays, which I already put the ones that she wanted on there, which I know she's going to want the the holographic versions. And here's the triple blacks and a Dbrand microfiber. So to get this into perspective of what you got going on here. Oh, this is also the extra scratch protector for the bottom of the unit. They think of everything with this. So what you're dealing with here is a overlay sticker to protect the bottom of the unit for when you decide to dock it and you miss it. You don't have to worry about missing and scratching the crap out of the unit. Take care of that. And then here's the lift off lid, so you see it one last time. Oh, I believe there's also front and back on this too. Yep, front and back. They think of everything. Box art, front and back. I think there's even stuff on the sides. It's crazy. So there's stuff on this side, stuff there, numbers like the Matrix. Your side here, and the docking station. They're going to give you an extra brick. They give you a docking brick, and then the other side here. Now, when you go to open this up, I've already had this all pretty much set up now. So, no, your setup will not come this way. This has already been done by myself. So here are the extra thumbsticks. She wanted to put those on. This is your overlay sticker, and then you have a reinforced plastic cover trim piece. And here is the tray and some information. And this information inside has a spare adhesive. So you got the little spare adhesives, so you can put those on your joycons. They figured that you may or may not need to do that. This setup didn't need to do that. Those are like shim stickers or shim labels. You don't have to do that with this. So, like I said, I've already put this solution on, so it's good to go. So as easy as it is, you just take the drop bar, fold it off, and you're graced with this. So there's the art, there's the stickers. The Joy-Cons are still naked with the covers. She wanted to put those on. The glass has already been installed. I did it through a helpful Dbrand setup. And I will say that it was very, very, very simple to do. And then picking up this unit, you got the underside, you got the cover, the Dbrand logo on the back. Okay, and just so you guys out there can see, yeah, I am one-handing this, and there's like, yeah. So for all y'all, here's that one. Here's that one. Don't see nothing wrong. It has quick releases. I'm going to put you guys back and flip you so you can now see me. So the quick release trigger, you pull the top triggers off, and it also has it lined with a sticker inside from factory. Wipe off the prism screen so you guys don't see a bunch of hazy, nasty looking fingerprints, because it just got them when I touched it when I tried to roll it around. And I will give a shout that that prism screen does clean up awfully quick, and is hydrophobic, by the way. Okay, and then the kickstand, which covers the micro slot, and it's been on there. I did it precisionally and precisely. There you go. Then the micro slots on the one side of that. And then as far as putting it back together, you got the quick release, the little tabbies up here. I like to put it on holding onto the trigger release and putting them in place, and letting it just kind of like lightly go in place, not just slam into position, because that's kind of like not good for them, I don't think. I just kind of like let it do its thing. And again, there's like nothing to that. Now I think in time, I think these will develop a little bit of a wear or a wobble scenario, and I think they will get some wear into them. But I don't have any play, and this is the Kill Switch 2 new case solution for that, and it's very, very nice. Like I said, I don't see any issue with what she's got on hers, but everyone's mileage will vary. Everyone's setup can vary accordingly. And then as far as the clamshell, it goes on there kind of static. You kind of go from the front, put on an angle, and it just lightly goes over. Drawstring cable, you put the drawstring over top of it, and then it just lines its way up and it finds itself into position. And then you're good for a 2-story fall. No, I'm only kidding. But they say that you can take it for a 2-story drop and it's covered, but I don't recommend doing it. I mean, it's like anything else. They say they can handle that. And this is the tray. So essentially what you got here is you got your tray here, factory tray from Nintendo, and your tray will no longer, this docking station will no longer fit with what you got. Now, I've seen the sticker thing that they were talking about. I don't know if that was from earlier gens, but of the Switch-2, but this thing here did not need any kind of sticker mod, and that's not separating itself by any means. So I don't know what's up. Don't know if they did anything added support wise to this. I'm gonna just double check it one more time, but that ain't going anywhere. I'm picking that up, and it used to be able to pick this thing up, and it used to be able to like come all apart and everything. Not anymore. So I don't know if that was just a Switch 2 like in the process or in like the series of figuring it out. I do notice that with the new Switch 2 now being released, they got these little shims. It's like a little like rubber strip. So Nintendo's like thinking now, so they figure, okay, well, you might be running a Dbrand. You see this little lipped, you'll see a section where my finger is right there. And you can see it if you have it has like a little tile. That's a shim, so you no longer have to do that solution anymore. I think they might have collaborated with Dbrand or other companies. So it's already coming with like a slippery rubber, like vinyl rubber tile to say, and it takes care of that solution. So you now have a solution for that. It goes back into the case. This case does come with it. It's a box. She's also doubling it right now as a case. So there was that. This was removed out of it, which was just a foam form piece. It's a form piece where they put the joycon connector covers over it like this, and they kind of hugged this and just kept its form and shape while being delivered to you, so they don't get bent or out of mold or out of round or out of condition. So they stay perfectly conditioned and molded to this, and they come formed, so they don't lose their form. That's a really important thing that they did. They think of everything. And once again, so you got the covers. These are the glass covers. Now, like I said, read the video. Read into the video, watch the video, read into that, because that is a very important thing that you need to really honestly do. I thought they were like, I'm not going to read it. I'm like, you need to read the video. If you read into the video, you'll get an excellent solution. I can't speak the same for my Ally X because I didn't do it. I already had a piece of glass already on there, and it was textured, but it's an anti-glare, and these are not as anti-glare as the textured anti-glares that you normally are used to, but it's shiny. Some people are going to like that, some people are not going to like that, but it's also more hydrophobic touching that than touching my Ally X. But my Ally X already had a piece of glass on it. I don't recall if my Ally X has that same glass solution as the Switch 2 does. The Switch 2, like I said, I'll just sum it up for you very quickly so you guys can understand how that works. So you have this little bracket trim cover that you're going to lay as an overlay over top of your existing Nintendo Switch tablet. It's what it essentially is a tablet screen until you put the Joy-Cons to make it a complete system. You have to take the two Joy-Cons completely apart, making it into a converted tablet, just a tablet square only. They suggest you keep it right side corrected as to where you would see it or how you would be normally looking at it and playing it normally, just with the Joy-Cons removed. And then from there, you're making sure you have it completely wiped, completely dry. I used alcohol. I used 91, I believe, percent isopropyl. I used about 2 or 3 drops. Wiped it with my own microfibered the crap out of it. Made sure it was completely dry. I waited about maybe like 3 to 5 minutes for that to make sure there was like no remnants of anything left over. And then I went ahead and proceeded with watching the video and watching what you do. So you would just drop the layer panel over top, which has the existing new glass in there, which is just in there statically. It's a friction fit, but it's just tight enough to where it won't move until you remove that layer of pull trim plastic. It's a plastic, like it's between Lexan and a snappy piece of plastic, kind of. It's like a tape tear off. It's a tear off strip is what it is, but it's all in one big panel. And then when you lay this down, you don't put your hand over flat and cover it up. You just hold it down the sides with your non-dominant hand, or you can do whatever hand you want. I use my non-dominant hand, which is my left. I'm right-handed, so my right hand's ready to pull that tab. When you hold it down on the ends or on the edges of the screen, on the screen cover that's covering your Switch tablet, once you have it on there in place, you're going to hold it with your hands on the edges, and you're just going to pull very quickly. One good decent pull. You don't have to pull it hard and snappy and fast. Just smooth and consistent, and get it off of there. And once you remove that trim pull film, it's a film. It's essentially it's like a very, very lightweight Lexan based film. And when you pull that flimsy film off of there, you now have a piece of glass that's now being semi-bonded to your device. At that point, you're going to then take your finger and then run it across from one side to the other. I went from left to right, like it shows in the directions on which way you're going to pull it. I did it the same way you pulled the strip off, or that tearaway film I was just talking about. And then I'm going to go the same way, left to right, swipe in the middle, and that gets it to a bonding standpoint. You let it sit for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then when you wait, you let it, I just sit there and let it wait. And then you hold with one finger the piece of glass, and you're going to start pulling away with the other and separating the glass from that tray. The tray should be the only thing coming back off of the device, and then you're done. Once you let it sit there, then I'll let it sit for another like 3 seconds to make sure it's bonded in there pretty good. You're going to start seeing all these little like things moving across the screen, like it's like air getting into it or getting out. Depending on where the screen is, as far as how clean, how dry, or how damp or moist or whatever, it's going to take more time for that to get out of there. And then you just take the squeegee. I go from a vertical standpoint, going up and down like that with the squeegee. Then I go horizontal. I think I did horizontal left to right first. Then I went back and forth, getting all the air pretty much pressed completely out using the squeegee. And it's also included in the kit, by the way. Once you squeegee out everything, that's a completed solution with the screen. And then you're moving on to other things that you want to do. I snapped the whole rest of the screen, or the Dbrand case together right after following that. And then I did the Joy-Cons separately, put those on, aligned them all up after I did the overlays. Overlays go first. I wiped down the Joy-Cons with isopropyl, dried them really good, stuck on each one, centering it up, of course. And you can see in the video I just did that you can see that it's pretty straightened out. The only thing I will touch on that was kind of a little bit of a pain was the kickstand. The kickstand has a cover, and essentially I think it's either 2 or 3 layered sheets of adhesive strip films, and one's a foam, like a semi-foam layer, and I think you're supposed to put it in the way they get it out of the box when you take that trim panel out. Well, I took it off and did them one at a time, and built it up, and then at the last one I did, I put the final product on first, and I put the foam thing over top of it. It doesn't seem right. Let me go ahead and I very carefully peeled back my cover, the main last piece. I put the foam layering back on, let it sit for a couple of seconds, and I had to re-straighten it back out because there's a notch in the center of that, and I straightened out all the notches and everything, put it all back exactly perfect, and let it sit and bond. And then after a couple of days, I kind of like moved it around a little bit, but I didn't do very much after that because it does weaken the structure of that every time you do that. You don't want to pull it off. You don't want to separate or sever it after several days of it sitting and bonding. Um, it needs to have a nice warm cycle to it where it warms up on the system, or you take it outside and let the sun kind of just like naturally just kind of like, warm it to a safe standpoint. That's kind of like seasoning it in. Other than that, it's good to go. I mean, and you can leave it off if you want. You have options. There's also a tearaway in the inside lip of the case where there's a couple things I left it on, and it's like a friction little strip they left on there, and you peel that away, and it leaves behind these little adhesion little layerings, and it's just like little bead layers are about this long a piece, and they're just for adding for more friction so the screen, or not the screen, but the device can't be separated or moved or jostled from that case. It makes the case a little more firm and more planted. Another solution that they came up with, and you have extra ones of those in there in the case as well, or in the set as well. So that takes care of my kids' Nintendo Switch for the most part. If you guys have any questions, that was pretty much it for this one. Just a quick wrap up of the Nintendo Switch and what it looked like and everything. I didn't show inside of that clamshell, but there is a way where you can take apart inside the clamshell, and there's that layer that has the video games in it. That was the only thing I didn't show, but it's in there too. All you gotta do is just snap it. It has I think it's 2 or 4 magnets. It's magnetically placed on there with earth magnets, and you just pop it off. It comes off as a panel, and it has I think it's like 5 or 10 slots where you can put your games in by themselves, and then you can store them in that panel when you're not want to carry the cases all over the place with you. You can carry them there and keep them in an organized fashion while you're on the move. It's a nice setup. But I hope you guys liked it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I just want to do one following my Ally X now, precluding and then leading up to the Nintendo Switch 2. And I hope you guys liked it. Any questions you want to leave them down below. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Happy 26. Later.